What's up with y'all, man? We back. Um, Today's video is gonna be about telepathy, right? If you consider yourself a telepath or you want to try practicing telepathy, make sure you like and subscribe. Finish this video because I'm gonna drop you some beautiful gems, and let's get right into it, right? So, first off, what is telepathy, right? Telepathy is just the communication between the mental plane. That's all telepathy is. Don't, you know, pay attention to movies, TV. Like, there are some accurate depictions out there, but they don't talk about the spiritual aspect because most of the shit is like superpowers and, it's supposed to be spooky. They don't want to explain it. But there's actual explainability behind this shit. You feel me? That being said, telepathy is merely communication across the mental plane and higher planes than that too. Telepathy is possible on higher planes than the mental, but mental is just the base plane. You feel me? Like what me and you would experience, most likely is gonna be mental, right? Most people are not, in the Buddhic and beyond. You feel me? Damn, Buddhic and beyond kind of sound hard. I'm gonna make that like a playlist. Like all of the like planes that I talk about that are higher than the mental, it's gonna be called Buddhic and beyond. You feel me? I'm coining that shit. But you might be asking, how do I communicate in the mental plane? I could barely communicate in real life. Well, listen up. First, you got to understand the structure and the functions of the mind, which resides in the mental plane. The mind, even the brain, right? Because the brain is a manifestation of the mind, right? The mind, as well as the brain, are receivers and transmitters. Mainly the brain, that is its main function, literally, to transmit and receive. Everything communicates in frequency. That's like the basis of metaphysics is frequency is everything. I think Nikola Tesla said that. But if you think that a physical device that is less technologically advanced than our brain can do telepathy, because that's what Bluetooth and that's what NCIF is. It's literally telepathy between electronics. If you think the brain can't do telepathy, but the other shit do telepathy, I got some questions for you. You feel me? But moving on, real telepathy actually takes place beyond the brain. It takes place in the mental plane, right? The brain is just the receiver, you feel me? But the mental plane, there's information, and like I said, the information can transmit itself because it's conscious. So all of these transmissions are happening non-stop, and we process them as different inputs, feelings, emotions, senses, whatever. The key to telepathy is being able to control all of this movement, to control this traffic. If you can start to control the traffic of signals and frequencies that are coming to you and going through you, you will be able to do telepathy way easier. I mean, you're always doing telepathy, really. You're probably just not conscious of it. There's always different beings hearing and listening in on you. You're never alone, bro. I'm sorry. If you want to consciously do it, you got to quiet that noise and slow it down, right? This is where foundation in energy work and, being present, being consciously active in your energy space. This is where that is important, right? You can't just be trying to do telepathy but you got all these mind fucking thoughts racing and blah blah blah. Like you gotta be chill, right? Gotta be able to receive and then give, right? Build the actual techniques and the structure to help you support this level of communication, because this is advanced communication. I'm gonna get into this a little bit more towards the end of the video, but once you evolve in consciousness and you start to exist in different higher states of being, among different angelic beings and different ETs, all communication is telepathic. If I got two ET beings that are beyond the Buddhic plane and they need to communicate and they speak different languages, how do you think they're going to communicate with each other? They don't speak the same language. They got to use telepathy. You know what I'm saying? Now, after we quiet the mind and we can control the traffic of frequencies, now we have to actually be able to zone in on a specific frequency and drive it wherever we want it to go. This is where we talk about willpower, right? That's more along with the foundation. But a lot of people's willpower is not even there yet to be doing telepathic communication. they're not even sure of themselves to be able to accurately convey messages. Now we get to the most important part of telepathy. This is the most important part. I should have said this first, I'm not gonna lie. But the most important part of telepathy is your frequency. You feel me? Don't think that you could be low vibe out here doing telepathy. Like, bro,
That don't work.
it don't work. You know what I'm saying? Well, like when I started unlocking telepathy at a base level, I had to have a basic conscious love for all things, period. Like there's no getting around that. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be able to understand the concepts of good and evil, you know, right and wrong. You have to understand the higher nature of these concepts, the fact that they're not really real, and that's a whole nother video. Um, and then you have to accept them as they exist in our plane, you know what I'm saying, the physical plane, and all the planes that you consciously exist in. I'm saying it's important to understand these concepts along with having a base level of love for all things, you know, a heart chakra activation. It's important to have that because once you unlock telepathy, it doesn't just mean that you can, you know, project a frequency or project telepathy to anybody you want. It also means that different beings can come through and transmit to you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, it's not gonna be a good being trying to do telepathy with you. You feel me? A lot of my early telepathic messages was literally demons. Demons, you know what I'm saying? And they prey on the weak, they prey on the newbies, they prey on the babies. I say I'm an intermediate telepath. I could probably do telepathy with another person if I tried, but they would have to be on the same frequency. They would have to be on that love shit. You know what I'm saying? I can't do telepathy on a nigga just out here saying fuck life and he not even on his spiritual shit. Like you can't really do telepathy with niggas like that. For the most part, I only do telepathy with my spirit guides now. And that's where, you know, the movies differ from real life. But I mention my spirit guides because they talk to me like how the demons talk to me sometimes. And I have to be able to tell the difference. That's when we get to intuition and discernment. That's the third step. You feel me? Because after you understand the concepts of good and evil, and then you have activated heart space or a basic love for all things, even the bad shit, you know, that comes with a level of discernment. You have to be able to know this from that. And that's when we deal with judgment. Like I told y'all in the last video, this is the follow-up. Judgment. You feel me? Judgment is the main function of the mental plane. And if you're not at the level to just have, you know, straight intuition about this situation, then you need to have good judgment. You feel me? Discernment. But once you get to a certain level of heart space, and you know you really love all things, you'll just have the intuition to be like, oh, that's not, you know, that frequency don't even sound like love, it don't even feel like love, you know, I'm not gonna entertain that telepathic communication. And oftentimes you'll just weed the snakes out the grass, you know what I'm saying? I could easily tell a demon from a loving entity now. Sometimes I struggle because they niggas be trying to talk to you sweet. I'm telling you, bro. The demons will talk to you sweet, and your spirit guides, depending on what type of spirit guides you got, my niggas ruthless. You feel me? They're with the shits. They be talking to me crazy any type of way, and I'm gonna have a whole video about that too. You know, about spirit guide communication. But you have to be able to know, you know, who and what is communicating with you. Now, I told y'all we were gonna get to, you know, how higher beings communicate. You know, that's why I kept bringing up my spirit guides and everything. What I want y'all to know, once you do get into telepathy, words will fuck you up. Just words, right? I be talking to my spirit guides, and I actually talk with words, and they don't like that shit. Like higher beings do not like that shit. They don't like words for real. Like they think that shit like how we human beings, we think that language is like the most advanced shit we done came up with. ETs, they look at that shit like the two monkeys banging the stones together and shit. Like they like, bro, is this nigga talking to me? Cause let me break it down to you simple, right? What is faster?
hey, I went to the store and I bought, some cheese and then I ate the cheese and they gave me bubble guts and blah blah.
Like, is that? See, you didn't even see. I just sent the frequency to the camera to the viewer. Like, I already. And which one was faster? You tell me. You feel me? Like, you tell me, bro. Like, the frequency shit is way faster. Um, Frequency mastery is like the next level of this. Once you master discernment, you know, you have to learn how to craft the frequency and you have to learn how to do it fast because frequencies can compartmentalize almost infinite, no, like literally infinite amounts of information in one frequency. We do this shit in increments very fast just to make this shit efficient because doing a buckload of information in one frequency is it's kind of stupid. But I'm talking shit, I'm not even there yet. I could more or less explain a concept through a frequency. You know what I'm saying? That's like the upper limits of where I'm at with telepathy. When I talk to my spirit guides, we practice, no words. Just explain what you want to tell me without saying shit. That's telepathy. That's basically what it is. You feel me? The words aspect is very, very important. It's like number two because I know there's somebody out there who's been trying to do telepathy for like fucking 20 years or something. And they're out here trying to send another person words and it just not working. Like it's just not working and they're giving up. And I hope they see this video. I hope you see this video, man. You can do it. You just need to drop the words. Yeah, man. In summary, we talked about the different technologies humans have created that can do telepathy. We talked about if the technologies can do telepathy, then why can't you? So, you are more advanced than an iPhone. We talked about the structure of the mental plane, how and why information moves so seamlessly through it. If you need more information on that, I got a whole series of the mental plane. Go start with the judgment video, the foundations of the mental plane. We talked about the duality of good and evil, right and wrong, and how you have to know the higher truths of what those are to even participate in telepathy because of the discernment aspect. We talked about love in the heart space, the most important thing to telepathy. You got to be at a basic level where you can love and understand all things. There will be negative beings trying to, do telepathy with you, even do spiritual warfare on you. And you have to just be like, oh, it is what it is. Like, you can't be getting all your emotions and shit, like, oh, this nigga's evil and blah, blah. Like, just see it for what it is. See that there's a higher force working through that being to teach you a lesson. You know what I'm saying? That's the higher truth of good and evil. And then we also talked about telepathy with higher beings and the abandonment of words, right? That's pretty much it for this video. It's a few things I didn't mention. I can just go over them real quick and then you could do your own research. Do your own research. That's the whole point of why I got this channel, to spark you to do your own shit. But I didn't really talk about what types of information you could send through in a frequency, kind of because it's self-explanatory. You could send anything through a frequency. So you could send astral imagery through a frequency. You could send emotion from the etheric plane. You could send all type of, actual data and information. And you could send anything. One last thing I do want to say is be careful out here. Feel me? It's a cold world. Cold world. But that's all, man. I love y'all so dearly. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you got anything to add to this conversation, make sure you leave it in the comments. That's how we enrich each other, learn from each other's experience, and make sure you hyping up the video. Feel me? Boost me in the algorithm. And that's all, man. I love you. Peace.